RKMSetupShop.com qualifying night number 2 for the second annual running of the TCM 300 coming up this Friday night live on Vidane TV, kicking off the TCM winter special events here in the iRacing world, and you're only going to see it here on Vidane TV. Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr. up here in the booth with a very special guest, knows a little bit about what we got going on here tonight. Brandon Campbell joining me up here in the Vidane TV broadcast booth. Brandon, how we doing tonight?
Yeah, we're doing good. I've been ghosting you the past couple months, so I thought I may as well show up to something and give you a hand.
Absolutely. Ran last night. Ran up in the top 10 for the better part of the race. Had a little bit of a late race incident that kind of took you out of contention there, but still got the last chance qualifier here Thursday night. Now, the deal for tonight, 3 15-lap heat races. Everybody makes the show here tonight. The main event of the evening going to be a 100-lapper here at the Bull Ring in Las Vegas. The top 10 finishers in the main event here tonight are automatically locked into the TCM 300 this coming Friday night. Everybody else going to have to race at the Thursday night last chance qualifier to try and get themselves into the second annual TCM 300. Big time super late model racing here in the iRacing world, and you're never going to find anything as exciting as this.
No, for sure. And a lot of these guys, you know, they race against each other in real life. They race each other on here all the time. So everybody kind of knows a little bit about each other, and it just makes for better racing.
Taking a quick look at the 8 drivers starting the field. Matthew Barkhouse with a 14.351 blistering lap time for the number 15, and outside of him going to be Craig Tully, John Baran, Nick Codner, Matthew Hoffer, Chantel Pottle, Kenny McKenzie, and Terry Duguay going to be the 8 drivers attacking this very first heat race, 1 of 3 tonight.
And I'm not sure if we mentioned it, and I assume it's the same as last night, so there's actually an invert of the top 3. So whoever wins this heat would start third, whoever wins the second heat would keep their position, and whoever wins the third heat would actually start on the pole for the big show.
Good information. It's glad to see somebody up here takes notes. But a great jump there for the 15. Matthew Barkhouse picking up where he left off last season here in the TCM world, up towards the front. Already got about a half-second lead over Craig Tully.
Yeah, it's a guy that you always expect to see out front, no matter where we are, no matter what cars. He definitely does his homework, and I know I've seen him in a few of the practice sessions this week, so looking for a strong run from him tonight.
Xander Sainz machine, super late model number 15, having a great run so far, inching away from Craig Tully in the 5 car, trying to hold on to that second position. You can see Nick Codner right in behind in his tire tracks, and he's got a mirror full to 57 at John Byron.
Yeah, and this is a little different than what we usually do, where, you know, you got to get top 3, top 4 in the heat to make it to the show, where these guys all make the show. So this is really just for starting position in the big 100-lapper, and even then, 100 laps is a lot of time.
A lot of time, but it goes by quick. Clicking off 14-second lap times all the way around this racetrack. And made mention, 3 of these heat races, 15 laps apiece. And Mike Alexander out front by almost a full second now. You can see he's growing further and further away from that number 5 car.
And as the laps run by, we see Barkhouse, you know, about a tenth or so quicker than the entire field. So just a guy, like I said, he's good wherever he goes. He's good at every track. And I think he did his homework this week, Paul.
A little bit of an incident. Looks like we missed it for Terry Duguay. Found himself off the pace there in the number 14 car. Running in 8th, holding on to the last bit of the field here. Getting close, maybe 3/4 of the way lap down, but he did get that thing pointed in the right direction and able to pull away. So we stay green for the number 15, Matthew Barkhouse out front. 1.3 seconds with 8 laps to go.
This track is so tough, you know, it's the tight corners, the straightaways aren't very wide, so with these high-powered super late models, it's easy to get in the wall coming off the corner. It's easy to loop it, which, well, I guess we've seen me do both of those, so.
And that's why I'm up here in the production trailer and not down there in one of these super late models, because I'm not good. But speaking of good, John Byron in the 57 car, able to hold on to a podium finish so far here, but he is under attack from Nick Codner, trying to get back up into the top 3 in that 54 car, driving hard into the corner, hard on the binders, and giving a lot of respect to the back bumper of the number 57 car. But I think as we get later on in the night, as the sun sets here in the desert, patience is going to start wearing thin. We're going to see a lot more take than we give. And oh, there's a little bit of a bumpski there from the 54 to the 57, letting him know he's there.
I mean, like we said, it's all about track position to start the big show, so obviously you don't want to cause an incident and end up starting at the restarting in the back of this field, but you definitely want to make as many spots as you can and give you a better shot at cracking the top 10 at the end of the 100 lapper.
Up at the wall a little bit. This is a 57, but he's going to try and hold on to the bottom side. As he gets down, he hits the apron, loses the back end of the race car. He's going to lose that third position. Now under attack for the fourth spot. Hoffert, the 84, going to get down and away. Popsicle sticks in the air, though, for Matthew Barkhouse. 2 laps to go for the 15.
Yeah, and it's actually a couple of great battles. We see John Byron, Matthew Hoffert, Kenny McKenzie having their own little battle in the back, but it's all Barkhouse right now as he takes the white flag. 1 more to go.
A lot of fast cars here throughout the field, and we've only seen a third of them so far on track. New colors for the 05 of Chantal Pottle as well, but that's going to be the checkered flag for the number 15, kicking off the season right with a heat race win here at the Bull Ring.
Yeah, and just a dominating performance for Matthew Barkhouse. I mean, almost a 2-second gap over second place of Craig Tully. Nick Codner 3rd, Matthew Hoffert 4th, John Byron 5th, Kenny McKenzie 6th, Chantal Pottle 7th, and Terry Duguay in 8th position.
And there you can see the finishing order there. RKM Setup Shop qualifying night number 2. 2 of 2 here on a Tuesday night. And got to check out rkmsetupshop.com. Had a great setup last night. Won the 100 lapper. Qualified himself into the main event for this coming Friday night. And we've got a couple of drivers here that are going to try and do the exact same here tonight. But heat race number 2 of 3. Thomas Axum up on the pole. Noel Fougier in second.
Stephen Henning will be on the inside of the second row with Dylan Black beside him. Derek Gates running at the top 5 with Wade Craswell on the outside row. And Trevor Smith and Chris Walsh at the end of the field.
So 8 more drivers getting ready to attack here at the Bull Ring. And they're going to grab the bull by the horns and try and back it up. Look at that 13 car. That is a cool-looking paint scheme, the black and the purple there for Thomas Axum. Good-looking paint schemes all the way through. Holy cow, look at that 26 car.
Hold up, I got to find him. Where are we? 26.
It's the mystery machine, bro.
Oh, he's a Dave Matthews. We got a Dave Matthews in the field tonight, the mystery machine car. Looks a little different without the 99 on it, but
good looking race cars. A lot of drivers having a little bit of time off in the iRacing world. Some of them, like Brett Suggs last night, finished second. He said he hasn't taken a day off from iRacing yet. Lots of races on the sim and lots of races in real life. And great to get everybody back together for Tim's Corner Motorsports qualifying night number 2, brought to you by RKM Setup Shop. Heat race number 2. Green flag is in the air. Phenomenal start for the 13.
yeah, Noel Fougier actually keeping it close too. These restarts are so tough where the pace car pulls off, halfway down the back stretch. A lot of games can be played, but Noel Fougier seemed to time that one almost perfectly.
And that's one of the glory things here with iRacing as Fougier dips down low, tries to get a nose underneath the 13 car of Axum, but he thinks better of it, tucks back in behind in his tire tracks. And with the iRacing restarts, as soon as that pace car dips onto pit road, after the initial start, a lot of private leagues, and I believe here at TCM, they allow the drivers to essentially, or the leader rather, to restart the race. So they can pick anywhere on the racetrack, and a lot of times when you've got a couple of cautions, drivers will try different things. Maybe take off a little early, take off late, sometimes right on time. A lot of different strategies can be played on these restarts.
Yeah, for sure. And Tim kind of helped us out a little bit this week where there's a certain light post in the middle of 3 and 4 where he said you have to fire off because obviously the pace car leaves early, and if guys are taking off as soon as the pace car leaves, well, it might get a little messy for the ones a little further back.
100%. We can see Noel Fougier backing up just a little bit, but still getting ready to attack. Doing his homework right now, trying to figure out where he's stronger, where he's weaker than the 13 car to see if he can potentially get himself up into the lead and maybe use it for later on in the big show here tonight as well.
Yeah, for sure. And Thomas Axum's one of the, he's one of the top guys in super late models on iRacing. He's kind of like a Matthew Barkhouse. He's good wherever he goes in these cars, so a solid run for him. But Noel Fougier is not slacking off too much right now.
Kind of a 2-car dance up in the front with 8 laps to go. Stephen Henning, that mystery machine car, back by himself there in third. Dylan back a little bit further on back. All black race car. Didn't even get any duct tape numbers on that thing. Supposed to be a new body on the number 71 car. And you can see the 67 car actually looks like an old Slam Drafted Radio paint scheme That's stepping 15, 20 years way back. And the 44, Trevor Smith, trying to close into the back bumper of him, but we're pretty spread out here. A lot of drivers using this as kind of an extended test session, easy enough for me to say, to figure out what the car's going to do on a longer run.
Yeah, for sure. And again, as the night wears on into this race with the dynamic weather and stuff that iRacing offers, and back in the day, iRacing would have it if you start the session in the afternoon, you're staying in the afternoon. But now we see as the night gets later, the sun's starting to set, we'll actually make it to nighttime, and that'll change the way these cars handle a bunch.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, Brendan. We're doing open setups here tonight for the bull ring, correct?
No, it's actually an RKM fixed setup. So it's not the iRacing fix, but Ryan Kuhn built this setup that's it's a little more drivable than the iRacing fix setups, and it makes it the 100 laps on fuel. So it's not the iRacing fix, but it's a custom fix that everybody has to run.
So everybody running an identical paint scheme. Yep, identical setup underneath the super late model here with 2 laps to go for the number 13 of Axum. Really pulling away from Noel Fougier, about a second lead now over the 36. But RKMSetupShop.com, lots of different custom setups for all of the different disciplines in racing on iRacing. Give a little bit of information on what you're trying to do, whether it's a qualifying setup or a heat race or a short run, long run, whatever you're trying to do with the setup. A little bit of driving notes on your input, and those team of 14 members on the RKM Setup Shop team able to hook you up and get you a little bit of driving speed with the iRacing setups. But checkered flag in the air, 13 car coming home with an easy trophy in the Axum machine. He's going to come home with the victory in heat race number 2. As we get set up for heat race number 3, we can take a look at the finishing results for heat race number 2 on screen.
Yeah, Thomas Axum, who's actually an RKM driver, he's part of the team, same as Dustin Momriquette and Ryan Kuhn that we saw last night. But Noel Fougier coming second, Stephen Henning third, Dylan Black fourth, Wade Craswell rounds up the top 5, Derek Gates in 6th, Trevor Smith, and I don't think Chris Walsh made it to the heat race.
Hey, do you think if I go on RKMSetupShop.com, they might be able to make me fast?
You know what, Paul? I don't even think they'd let you in the Discord. They didn't let me, so.
Well, sometimes.
A great group of guys, though. I mean, they're all awesome. I'm really good friends with Ryan and Dustin and Thomas, so if anybody here ever needs a hand, they're definitely the guys to go check out. I mean, everyone's running their setup tonight, right?
100%. Mike Rhino on the pole in that 34 car, as well as Tanton Woldridge, easy enough for me to say. Struggling with the English language here tonight. On the outside of P1, Chase Elliott, no, just kidding. That's Brent Roy in the 3rd position in the 9 car, the Napa Know-How machine. Dave Cassidy, Wally Wilson, Danny Veach, and Tony Wright rounding out the 7 drivers in this final heat race of the night, and we're going to see these guys take off one more time.
You know, Paul, I almost heard that. Wally's one of my good buddies. I call him Willie Walston, and I think you almost just called him Willie also.
I did. I almost called him Willie Nelson for some reason.
Yeah, close enough, right?
Speaking of which, could you open that window over there? Pace car down on the safety of pit road. Green flag in the air. The 34 car tries to take off, but Tanton Woldridge holds on to the outside line. He's going to try and drive around him on the outside.
Yeah, Tanton's a guy that really came into iRacing last year. Well, I don't know how long he's been on it, but last year he definitely improved, and I think it helped him in real life, too. The guy won almost everything there was to win this year, championships at 2 tracks, so the guy got the seat time, and we see Brent Roy a little sideways in the back. Maybe some help from our buddy Willie?
Yeah, Willie. We're going to have to interview him and yell at him for having a name like that. But the 69 car getting all over the back bumper of Brent Roy in that number 9 Napa Auto Parts car, and gave him a little bit of a bumpski there. There's another shot. That's letting him know he's there. That's the old TC13, a little Teddy Christopher action. You hit him 3 times. Once, just to let him know that you're there. 2, get out of the way, I'm faster. And 3, oh, you're going the wrong way. So that was 2. We'll see what happens here with the 69 and the 9.
You know what, Paul? I think I actually heard him say, "Shut up, Brent," at one point, but I'm not sure.
It might have been his crew chief yelling at him.
But no, a great race so far. We see Mike Rhino out front, Tanton Woldridge about a half a second back, and then we see the battle with Wally and Brent for 3rd place right now.
A little bit further on back, the 53 car having a little bit of a battle with the 69 car. Now peeking a nose down on the bottom side. Dave Cassidy in the 53 car. After a couple of laps, it looks like that car's starting to come in, the 53.
Yeah, for sure. I think you start to figure out, what this car is going to do, how hard he's got to drive it in. And if I'm not wrong, I think there was an hour practice before this. So, they had their time to practice by themselves with no pressure, but now they're in the race and the spotlight's on them.
100%. 8 laps to go here in the final heat race of the evening. And want to give a shout out to everybody that's watching on Vidane TV, on Tim's Corner Motorsports Facebook page, the Vidane Facebook page, YouTube, all over the place. We're going to try and be as interactive as we can with the chat here tonight. So let us know where you're watching from, who you're rooting for. Looks like we got a lot of fans of Stevie in the YouTube chat, a couple of Pottles fans as well. And good luck to all the competitors. Bob Hutchings is going to chime in at Thursday night for the last chance qualifying race. Didn't quite have the run that he was looking for last night. Iowa City checking in. Pretty cool to be down there. And man, oh man, lots of fans tuning in here tonight. It's going to be exciting once we drop the green flag here. But before we get that, 5 laps to go in this heat race.
I'm kind of surprised. I don't see my fans in here. I'm technically a part of this still, aren't I?
Oh yeah, if you show up Thursday night for the last chance qualifier.
Well, we'll see if the car will start. We might make an appearance.
Get out there, make a quick pace lap, and park it. We're done, boys. Tanton Woldridge starting to close in on the back bumper of Mike Rhino in the 34. Don't think he's going to have enough time to get there. He's really able to drive into those corners, but it looks like the 34 car better coming off in both turns 2 and 4. And you can see the 56 closes closer and closer on entry. So that setup really seems to be working for Tanton as well.
Yeah, and Tan's a guy that, like I said, the amount of seat time that guy got this year, he'd race Scotia every Friday. He'd be in Petty or Oyster Bed on Saturday, and then if somewhere was running Sunday, you knew he'd be there too. Just the dedication from that team's insane, and it's paying out for him in real life, and it looks like it's working for him on iRacing too.
Final lap of the final heat race. Mike Rhino up towards the front. Tanton Woldridge trying to close in, but not going to have enough time to get to the back bumper of Mike Rhino. Still going to be a heck of a qualifying effort, though. Brent Roy coming home in 3rd. Wally Wilson in 4th. Dave Cassidy, Tony Wright in the top 6. And it looks like Danny Vitch had himself a little bit of an issue there. But he parked it. He's going to start towards the back. But speaking towards the back, Brent Roy, we're going to see if we can get a little booth-to-car communication. Brent, Paul Strickland up in the booth. You get a copy?
Wrong radio.
Oh,
well, that
radio.
is not Brent.
That is not Brent.
That is not Brent.
He had a great 3rd place finish. He actually boasted to us that he only had 3 laps of practice and still qualified top 10. So we'll see how that goes. I did want to stop in here, boys, and let you know that TCM Live back tomorrow night. We've got a very busy show tomorrow night. Justin Cole is going to join us, driver of the number 38 Street Stock, Travis Roma, driver of the number 38 Sportsman car from Scotia Speed World, and Randy Titus. It's show number 38, so we figured we'd have some 38 flair to that one. Starts tomorrow, 8 p.m. Atlantic, so stop in and say hello to us, crack a cold beverage, and enjoy some bench racing with the boys. But speaking of crack a cold one here, we're getting ready to go racing for 100 laps.
Final warm-up in the books here. A quick little minute practice for these drivers to make sure everything is good to go with their cars. Now these drivers going to line up for the big show, 100 laps here at the Bull Ring.
And like we said, that invert works for Mike Rhino tonight. He was the 3rd heat, so he won that one, and he just got off the track, and he's back out there now to start P1 for the 100-lapper.
Thomas Axum on the outside of him with Matthew Barkhouse and Craig Tully starting in row number 2.
Noel Fougere will be starting row number 3 to round out the top 5 with Tanton Woldridge in 6th. Nick Codner and Steve Henning for 7th and 8th. Brent Roy and Matthew Hoffert will round out the top 10.
Dylan Black in 11th. Wally Wilson going to take that number 69 car towards the front from the 12th position. We'll see how quickly that can happen. John Byron in 13th. Wade Craswell starting 14th.
15th place will be Dave Cassidy. Tony Wright, no. Am I lost? Oh, 16th would be Kenny McKenzie. 17th would be Derek Gates. 18th would be Tony Wright. Chantel Pottle in 19th, and Trevor Smith in the 20th position.
And rounding out the 23-car field here tonight, Danny Vitch, Terry Duguay, and Chris Walsh in the 23rd position. Going to start that 18-car from shotgun, and we're just waiting for all these drivers to get out onto the track and get ready for 100 laps here at the Bull Ring. Lots of action last night here in heat race qualifying event number 1. Brought to you by RKMSetupShop.com. Be sure to check them out. They supplied the setup here for the entire week. Last night's qualifying, tonight's qualifying, Thursday night's last chance qualifier, and Friday night's big show, the second annual TCM 300, live right here on Vidane TV.
Yeah, and that's going to be a good one, but we still have to lock in 10 from this, and I think Tim said 5 from the LCQ, so there's 23 cars tonight. I think that's 4 or 5 more than we had last night, so that should mean 4 or 5 more cars worth of excitement, right?
In theory. We've got a lot of different driving styles here tonight. Super late models, one of the favorites here in the TCM crowd, as well as with our fans, and a lot of these drivers have a lot of real track experience as well, so very cool to see these guys and gals jump on the old iRacing simulator as the months get colder. The iRacing action heats back up, and we are so excited to have TCM, Tim's Corner Motorsports, right back here on Vidane TV. With the pace car, he's on pit road. He's going to get himself a corn dog and a Coke. Green flag in the air. Mike Rhino takes the jump at that 13 car, making the outside work for him.
Yeah, again, another perfectly timed restart. We've seen that quite a bit tonight as we see Mike Rhino and Axum battle for the lead so far, with Barkhouse closing in, and looks like Craig Tully in 4th.
Lots of car control. All of these drivers using the same setup supplied by RKMSetupShop.com, and Mike Rhino making it work for him. You can see now he's got 2 challengers right behind him. The 15 of Mike Alexander now getting underneath the 13 of Axum. He's going to set his crosshairs on the back bumper of that 34.
Yeah, and 2 guys I wouldn't want behind me at the start of the race would be Matthew Barkhouse and Thomas Axum. So I'm sure Mike Rhino's not looking in the mirror yet, but that's 2 strong competitors right behind you.
4 laps in, you can already see the cherry glowing red brakes here on these race cars, on these super late models. Lots of braking, heavy braking into the corners here. Very fast racetrack, very quick racetrack. 14-second lap times, 14.3, 14.5-second lap times all the way around here.
Quick times for sure. These 100 laps, if this went checkered or green to checkered, this would be done in no time. And we see Mike Rhino's already catching the 69 of Wally Wilson, so there must have been an issue somewhere, and the yellow flag's out.
Tony Wright finding himself off the pace in the 09 car. It looks like he might have a little bit of a connection issue as well. But this is going to bring out the very first Kong Beer Bong instant replay of the night. We got to do it quick, because quick cautions here in the qualifying events, as we found out last night. But it looks like a little bit of loosey-goosey in turn number 1, just kind of loses the back end of the race car. And you can see kind of a wonky line getting into it, loses the back end, gets on around, does a great job not hitting anybody else or anything else on the racetrack for that matter. So that Ames Oil number 09 going to continue on to fight another day.
Yeah, and like we mentioned before, this track with the tight corners, you really got to try to get as much as you can off the corner and into the corner. So, and over driving at all here will get you completely sideways. I learned that the hard way a couple of times. So, the car control is super important here to try to get the momentum off the corner, and sometimes you just give it a little too much.
Chris Walsh in the 18 car, the only driver to retire from the event here. 22 drivers still on the lead lap, getting ready for restart number 1 here on lap number 8 and 9 as we cross the line. Green flag in the air. Mike Rhino down and away as they shoot off into turn number 1.
Again, a great timed restart by Barkhouse and Axum, two guys that are right on the back bumper of Mike Rhino. So we see these guys at the front, you know, they're patient, giving each other room, but they want to lead the laps.
And a lot of laps of practice have gone in over the past week or so, sometimes even longer, as this event was announced a little bit back. Drivers started to practice with their own setups, got the official setup, and then we had the hour of practice tonight. And a lot of these drivers here tonight have a little bit of an advantage because they saw what the cars were able to do last night as they watched on Vidane TV, as well as the on-demand video you can check out over on our YouTube page. Just do a quick search for Vidane TV and you'll see the TCM qualifying night number 1, brought to you by RKMSetupShop.com, is there for you to watch anytime, anywhere there's an internet connection. How about a little battle for, nope, not battle for the lead. The 14 car, Terry Duguay going 1 lap down.
Yeah, again, there must have been another incident, but with this battle at the front, you know, it's hard to choose one spot to watch. So there must have been an incident for Terry Duguay getting lapped already, which isn't how you want to start the night, but he's got a lot of laps to get that lucky dog back.
Blistering fast lap times by that 34 car, but everybody up towards the front sticking right with him and doing an awesome job. The 13 right in behind him as well. So doing everything he can. You can see he's going to try and peek a nose down on the bottom side, but no avail right there. It's still Mike Rhino up towards the front.
Yeah, and these cars are flying right now. The front four for sure, and even everybody behind them. These are quick lap times. We see the top four pulled away. About a second and a half over fifth, and then another second and a half back. So we definitely see where the class of the field is so far.
Side-by-side action. The 13 of Axum trying to make it happen on the bottom side. He's hooked up on that white line. A little bit of a bobble there from Mike Rhino in the 34 car. That's going to open the door for Mike Alexander. Now going to try and get back. Oh, big time slide for that 15.
Yeah, that was dangerous, especially at the front of the field. You know, there's not much these guys have to push right now. The top 10 make it into the big show, so whether you finish 10th or you finish first, you're locked in, right? So a lot of patience being showed, you know, a couple mistakes, but these guys seem to be pretty clean and giving a lot of respect so far.
19 laps complete here, and we can see Nick Conner in the 54 car wanting to get up. He's a little three-way dance here with Noel Fougier and Mike Rhino in the 34 and the 36. And you can see Conner getting a little bit of a run now on the bottom side. Mike Rhino's going to let him go. Rhino back to fifth.
Yeah, and the boys over in Newfoundland must be excited. I'm sure Mike's watching from somewhere and seeing Nick Codner giving this. He's in fourth place so far, so a top 5 run for Codner. You know, the boys over in Newfoundland are excited.
100%. Mikey out of town here tonight, but he was in the booth with me last night and watched some great racing, just like we're seeing here. Awesome racing by these drivers, and you can see Craig Tully right outside the top 5 rather, with Tanton Woolridge right behind him. Caution flag going to come out. Looks like the 29 car of Danny Vitch might have found himself in trouble.
Yeah, we see that as the leaders come by. There was another car. I didn't quite see who it was. Might have been the 26 was stopped up near the wall, so we're going to back this up and see what happened here.
Little Kong Beer Bong instant replay in turn 1, Calamity Corner so far. You can see a little bit of a scrub on the wall in the front straightaway, and then loses the back end of the Major Melon number 29 car. And then you can see a little bit of an incident in behind there. See if we can slow that down and catch a number. That's going to be Chantel Pottle in the 05 car. And a lot of times what happens if there's a wreck or an incident where drivers see smoke, they'll try and woe down just a little bit, and well, this just looks like a couple of drivers going for the same piece of real estate. So that was a big hit for the 26 and the 05. Gonna have to fix some of that damage under caution.
Yeah, for sure. And with these short tracks, you know, you got to be on the bottom. There's not much of an outside groove at a small track like this, so just trying to get to the bottom, and I guess the hole was filled before Chantel made it down there. And looks like Terry Duguay might have the free pass.
Terry Duguay driving on around on number 14 car. It's going to put him back on the lead lap. 21 drivers now on the lead lap. A new leader up front. The 13 car gets around our leader, and Thomas Axon going to hold on to it.
Yeah, for sure. And just a quick note on the free pass here. The way iRacing does it, so they're based on an incident system. So touching the wall would give you an incident. Hitting a car would give you an incident. So if you're supposed to be the free pass car, and you touch the wall or another car, they take that away from you. So, you know, if you're in the spot to get the free pass, you want to make sure you don't touch a thing, or you'll lose it pretty quick.
Lots of rules inside iRacing, lots of rules as well in the TCM world, but lots of admins able to help out as well. And always want to give those guys a shout out down in, guys and gals down in the Big Red Trailer, where all the a lot of times not so popular decisions are made as it comes to race officials and things like that, but got to keep the racing clean, fair, and interesting. And it is absolutely interesting up towards the front. Mike Alexander on the high side, Thomas Axum down on the bottom side. Thomas Axum shot off like a rocket ship, but Mike Alexander right in his tire tracks.
Yeah, that's a great restart for Axum, and that's one of those things where, you know, you can fire off whenever you want. So I'm sure there's games being played just as there is in real life, and, you know, you try to maximize the gap you can get off the restart.
And with these restarts, drivers trying different things, different times. Whenever they think that they've got the answers, they changed the questions. Whoa, a little bit of a bump there from the 56 of Tanton Woldridge into the 34. Brent Worley comes in a little bit too hot, finds himself big time sideways, gets it straightened back out. We are still green flag racing here at the Bull Ring.
That was a great save by Brent, by Mike, by Tanton. There was 4 or 5 options to have a caution there, and they kept it green. So we're gonna see if Brent can make his way back up. I think he was running inside the top 10.
Yeah, he was up in about the 7th position. Had the same issue last week here at the Bull Ring, racing Xfinity cars in the NEP Series, New England, Pennsylvania iRacing Group. Just had their race here in the Xfinity cars, and Brent was running up in the top 5, top 10, got caught up in a late race wreck. So has a lot of experience here at this racetrack in different cars as well. So we'll see if that comes at advantage. But he's back in 15th now after that little bit of an incident. So a long way to go and only 2/3 of the race to go.
Yeah, it's like we said, these are quick lap times. It feels like we've only been here a couple minutes, and we're already 32 laps in. So these 100 laps are going to fly by, and we're going to see if Brent can make his way back up, and we're going to see if the battle for 10th place in the transfer spot intensifies. And it looks like Wally Wilson's currently holding that position with Matthew Hoffert trying to get it from him.
A little bit of conveyor belt action going on here at the Bull Ring. Drivers know that they've still got quite a bit of time here to go, but making the best plans that they possibly can to see if they can get themselves closer and closer, if not to that top 10, to the lead, and see if they have got anything for the 13 and the 15. But you can see the 69 car really seems to be hooked up to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to close in on Dave Cassidy in the 53 car. And you can see as he gets into the corners, gets right up to his bumper, but the 53 is able to pull away.
Yeah, the 53's, and we see a little bit of contact there. It looks like the 53's running the the enter easy and drive off hard approach, where Wally's driving in a little harder, not getting the run off. And Dave Cassidy so far looks like our hard charger. He started in the 15th position, gained 6 spots. He's up to 9th, and he's going to lose 9th now to Wally Wilson.
A little too hot to trot there, getting into turn number 3. Got up a little bit high, wide and handsome for the 53 car. That's going to let the 69 of Wally Wilson get on down and around and pad that top 10 just a little bit. It's going to move it up to 9.
Yeah, and Wally's hoping to grow that gap over Dave Cassidy as quick as he can, because we see Dylan Black's in the 11th position trying to get that top 10. Derek Gates and Matthew Hoffert are all right in a row. So that's the 10th position. You need to be there or better to transfer, so we'll see if Dave Cassidy can hold on to it.
That all-black car is actually going to be the 71 car. Got to the track so late, they couldn't even put numbers on that thing. So that's going to be Dylan Black in that 71, like you made mention, Brendan. He is running 11th right now, trying to see if he can maybe peek a nose down underneath the 53 car to get up around and try and transfer into the second annual TCM 300 this Friday night. But he's also got a mirror full of 24 car as well. Derek Gates having a solid run. He's up 5 spots from qualifying.
I think we're going to have to send our good buddy Ricky Miller from PEI over to Dylan Black, because he showed up to the track this year with an all-black car, no numbers, and it ended with gray duct tape on it, so maybe we'll have to get Ricky to make him some of those duct tape numbers for the next race.
Well, hopefully maybe he can pick up a sponsor between now and then if he's able to make the big show here Friday night. If not, maybe even Thursday night for the last chance qualifying race. We won't be broadcasting that. We'll be busy with the NEPS drivers running at the Watkins Glen for 30 laps, but be able to catch up on all of the last chance qualifying race news on the Tim's Corner Motorsports Facebook page, and we'll be able to fill you in Friday night when we go live from Verdane TV at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And we're going to be carrying that second annual TCM 300. Very excited for it, kicking off the winter right.
Yeah, and the 300s, it's almost as big as the showcase now that happens at the end of the year. And last year I made the 300. I didn't get to do it. I had other commitments, but I'm hoping to make it through the LCQ, because 300 laps is something you don't get to do very often at a track like this in these cars. So a lot of fun, and it looks like Thomas Axum's now coming up on some lap traffic.
26 car down on multiple laps here. He's going to pull out of the way. Terry Duguay there in the number 14 car. Final car in the lead lap, running in the 18th position. And nothing against the 14. It's just the 13 is so much quicker than a lot of these drivers. He's even pulled away by about 1 1/4 second over Matthew Barkhouse.
Yeah, and as we said at the start of the broadcast, Axum's one of those guys where he's just good wherever he goes. And I've raced with him a lot. He's one of my good friends, and he's a guy that doesn't make mistakes too often, and consistency's key in these cars at a short track like this.
100%. A lot of these drivers trying to take notes as they're trying to get into the top 10 and come home with a good finish here to lock themselves in Friday night, but they're taking notes, trying to figure out what the car is going to do, and it may even put some of the drivers that don't qualify in the top 10 here that have to run Thursday night and the LCQ race. It gives them a little bit more of an advantage, gives them a little bit more track time, and it kind of gives them an idea of what the car is going to do. And we've got a long green flag run. We've had a couple of multiple long green flag runs here at Bullring tonight. As I say that, it looks like there was a car in the background that was pointed in the wrong
like
direction.
Chantal Puddle.
Yeah, getting caught up in the outside wall. Doesn't look like the damage is too bad, but that's going to bring out the Kong Beer Bong instant replay.
Yeah, and as we saw last night too, I mean, I got caught up in an incident, a lap down. I needed the yellows to come, and I think we had a 50 green flag lap run. So a lot of patience being shown so far, and as we saw last night, and it's good to see us get these green flag runs in.
100%. Here you can see, focus in on the 05 car. Beautiful RKM setupshop.com race car, but a little bit of contact. A little bit of a helping hand for the 05 car, sending her on up into the outside wall. But made mention, damage doesn't look too bad as we get a good shot. Well, a little bit of left side damage there. How about that car, though? That is a good-looking paint scheme.
I think I need to get in contact with whoever's painting these RKM cars. We see Thomas Axum, the lead, has a beautiful car. We see Chantal Poddle, so I think we're going to have to send out a message to whoever's painting these. It might be RS Center from Studio 10 Wraps.
Definitely going to have to check that out. But the 13 car of Axum still up front. Matthew Barkhouse holding on to the second position. Noel Fugier, Mike Rhino, and Tanton Wooldridge holding on to the top 5 with Craig Tully, Nick Codner, John Byron, Wally Wilson, and Dave Cassidy holding on to the top 10. And this has been a really good race so far here tonight as we just get past halfway. Thank you so much for tuning in here on Verdane TV, whether it's at the Tim's Corner Motorsports page, the Verdane Facebook page, the Verdane YouTube page. Be sure to give us a like, a subscribe, a share, all that good stuff. Let your friends and family know that you're watching some iRacing action here on Verdane TV. And the lights are off on the iRacing pace car. We're getting ready to go green one more time.
That's actually a feature Tim just recognized, I think a week or so ago, where you can actually change it to make the caution laps a little quicker. So iRacing will usually give you about 6 or 7 caution laps, and we get it down to 3 and get the race back on quicker.
Action-packed action here on Verdane TV. Late restart, but a good restart. Oh, a little bit of a wobble there for the 13 car. Blood in the water. Mike Alexander jumps right down in the bottom side and grabs that number 2 spot.
And another great restart by Axum. I'm not sure what's going through his mind, if he knows when he's going to go or he just decides to take off, but it seems to work so far, and Barkhouse is following his footsteps, and like you said, he's doing his homework. He's going to see where Axum's strong, where he's weak, and he's going to hope to capitalize on that later in the race.
So we've seen these drivers give a lot of extra room, a lot of extra space here in the first half, and I think as we get closer and closer to the end here, working lap number 57 of 100 here on the docket, I think we're going to see a lot more drivers be a little bit more aggressive, try and take advantage and take more than what they gave in the first round.
Yeah, for sure. And like we said, if you're inside the top 10, it just helps the track position for Friday, but at the same time, you're locked into the top 10. You don't want to cause an incident and have to go to the back and then try to work through all these cars again. So a lot of patience being shown up front, and they're just trying to stay clean and make sure they stay where they are for now.
And if you do finish inside the top 10 here last night or tonight, it gives you an opportunity to figure out what the caution flag comes out once again, and it looks like the 05 and the 14 found each other on the racetrack. So we'll pull up the Kong Beer Bong instant replay one more time. We'll take a look at it live and see what happened.
Tough nights so far for Chantal Poddle. We saw her, I think, in the top 5 at Five Flags last week, so it's definitely not the night she wanted.
And there you can see a little bit, the 14 getting a little bit aggressive with that apron, and then a little bit aggressive on the back bumper of the 05. No major contact after that, though. You can see the damage there on the left-hand side of the 05 from an earlier incident, but still holding on, still trying to get back on the lead lap and trying to get up into that top 10 for the qualifier here Friday night.
Again, one of those things, just like the real world, if you're part of the incident or part of the caution, then you don't get the lucky dog, so I think the last 2 times she was in the spot, and she ended up being part of the incident. So it's hard for her to get her lap back at this point.
Still 38 laps to go. You can see the 09 car getting waved around. That's Tony Wright going to rejoin the lead lap here. 19 cars, 19 drivers still on that lead lap with less than 40 laps to go. And an action-packed night here so far. We saw 3 15-lap heat races, relatively clean all the way through. And, well, even the race so far here tonight, the 100-lapper, relatively clean and action-packed for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And me and Tim were talking about this earlier too. And even if you don't make the show, you're still getting, your 100-lap qualifier. You're getting the 15-lap heats. You're getting, I think he said it's either 100 or 125-lap LCQ. So about 300-ish laps plus practice laps. You're getting a lot of laps in at this place.
And it really shows who practices more. And, well, a lot of the drivers up in that top 10, drivers that we saw last season here with the Tim's Corner Motorsports special events, and a lot of drivers up towards the front like to stay there. And there's the 13 car, another great restart for Axum, and Matthew Barkow's going to slide into that number 2 spot. Little side-by-side action. Mike Rhino trying to get back up towards the front with Noel Fougier down on the bottom.
Yeah, the top 2 seemed to straighten out, and it's a single file, but a little farther back we see a big group of cars, and that goes from, I think, 3rd on back to 10th, so that's the money spot they're all going for.
Gaggle of cars here mid-pack, knowing that they're starting to run out of time, crossing the stripe here on lap number 66. Craig Tully in the 5 car having a solid run, trying to get up into the top 5, and does so. Gets around Wilson, gets around Rhino, sets his sight now on Woolridge in the 56.
Yeah, and we start to see these guys, from 11th on back. Brent Roy's up to 12th, Derek Gates in 11th, and they're all chasing 10th place right now. And it looks to be Nick Codner in 10th place now.
Connor in 10th place at 24, right in front of him. Brent Roy in that 9 car trying to get back up into the top 10 after an earlier incident, finding himself towards the back of the pack, but able to drive back up through to 11th right now. He can smell that transfer spot. He wants to take Thursday night off, and he wants to try and qualify into the big show here on Friday night, but he's going to have to get around Nick Connor in the 54 car, holding on to that 10th spot.
Brent Roy's always a strong competitor, but we see a lot of strong competitors in this top 10 right now. We see Barkhouse, Fougier, Wooldridge, Tully, all strong competitors. We see the newer guys like Axum and Wally Wilson and Dylan Black. So a great mixture of different types of drivers, and all from different areas in the top 10 right now.
And you can see a couple of drivers starting to get a little bit more aggressive. The 24, the 54, and that 71, the all-black race car, getting all familiar with each other's bumpers here. The 24 slips up just a bit on the corner exit, and the 54, Connor's going to take a peek down on the bottom side. Brent Roy sees that door opened up for that 10th position. He's going to try and follow the 54.
Yeah, and Brent's hoping they stay side by side enough so he can get in there, and it looks like he's in there. So Gates in the wall, Brent gets the 10th position, and we see 2 more cars coming on looking for that 10th position.
Gates was able to get back down on the bottom side. I think he looked in the rearview mirror and saw a couple of cars in behind him. Did not want to get stuck on that top side, and you can see he's got a little bit of work to do now to try and get around that number 9 of Brent Roy, the 126, as he's scored on timing and scoring. But back up front, the 13 car of Axum, he is checked out. 0.8 of a second is the lead over Matthew Barkowski in second.
Yeah, you can tell Axum did his homework this week, and a guy that seems to not have made too many mistakes this race, so he's just staying consistent, and he knows he doesn't need to overdrive the car. He's got nothing behind him, nothing in front of them. He just needs to ride this out.
Noel Fougier having a quiet run here. Haven't mentioned him too many times here tonight, but the car is relatively clean. Actually, that car is immaculate all the way around. Number 36 car holding on to the 3rd spot, and he's got a little bit of a Tanton Wooldridge problem in his rearview mirror, starting to close in just a little bit.
Yeah, Wooldridge, a guy we see. Oh, and actually there's a yellow flag out on the track, and a car stopped in the wall.
71 car backing it into the fence there, bringing out caution flag at number 5, and another opportunity to pull up the Kong Beer Bong instant replay. And as we rewind the tapes, looks like a little bit of help from his friends here, and one of the top 10 drivers getting bumped out. So that's going to really open the door for a couple of drivers, and we'll see what happens here. There you can see the Cotton Machine of 54 gets in there a little too hot to try, gets into the corner panel. Oh, Brent Roy gets a big piece of that 71 car. Lots of damage now on the 9, but he still holds on to that 9th position. We'll see if that affects him later on here in the race. But 71 car having a restart from the back of the pack now.
Yeah, a lot of damaged race cars. I think we're going to see the 71 at the back. I know Codner was involved. That might send him to the back. So there's 2 guys from the top 10 that they're going to have to start at the back. And it looks like we have 19 cars on the lead lap. So they're going to have to go all the way back there and try to make their way back up into 10th with only 22 to go.
And that is a tall order, even when you've got an entire race to do it. Taking a peek right now, Thomas Axon still up front. Chantal Pottle getting one of the laps back. I believe that may put her back on the lead lap. We'll have to double-check timing and scoring once she gets down and around. But Thomas Axon, Matthew Barkhouse, Noel Fougier, Tant Woolridge, and Wally Wilson up in the top 5. Mike Rhino, Craig Tolley, Brent Roy, Derek Gates, and Dave Cassidy, the top 10, with John Byron right outside in 11th in the number 57 car. Still 19 drivers on the lead lap, though, with less getting the restart here with 20 laps to go, maybe even less than 20 laps to go, as the iRacing pace car still has those strobe lights on. We may very well see some action here. There's 19 different drivers that can come home with a W.
Yeah, for sure. And as we talk about the guys that have to make their way from the back to the front, we have Derek Gates in the top 10. He started 17th position, up 8 spots to 9th. Wally Wilson in 5th. He started 12th and up 7 positions to 5th. So we see these guys that made the moves, but they also had 80 laps to do it. Now there's 20 to go. So if you're starting at the back, that's it's not giving you much time to make it up to the top 10.
And how about that Trevor Smith machine having a great run so far. Biggest mover up eight spots from qualifying earlier on. Green flag out, though, one more time. And another great restart for the 13. Matthew Barkhouse, though, still right on his bumper.
Yeah, Axum, another great restart. We see Barkhouse. He seems to kind of figure out where Axum wants to go every time. He's getting a little bit better each and every restart, and we see a big group of cars battling for 4th place right now. It looks like Wally Wilson has the edge for 4th right now.
Oh, 24 car around Derek Gates. Looks like a little bit of contact. Going to collect a whole slew of race cars. We're polluting the infield with race cars, and a lot of drivers able to get away, but some of them not so much. Caution flag at number 6 out, and we're going to pull out the Kong Beer Bong instant replay.
And like we said, not many laps to get to the top 10, and I think this might have just been an incident in trying to make your moves.
100%. We're going to focus in here on the 24 car. A little bit of a bump from the 85, and you can see a couple of drivers trying to slow down and getting a little bit of a bump from the back. It's hard to see through the car in front of you, so that's one of the reasons a lot of drivers will see a wreck, and then the guys behind them won't actually see the wreck and won't get slowed down. At least that's what I'm told, anyway.
Yeah, we get told stuff that's not true sometimes, don't we?
100%. But 16 laps to go here at the Bull Ring of 100 on the docket. Last night's main event saw a green-white checkered, so we went a little extra distance here. No worries about fuel, no worries about tires if you've been taking care of them. And a lot of these drivers have really been kind of abusing the equipment just a little bit. So we'll see if that comes into factor here. There have been a couple of caution laps to try and slow things down and cool the tires off just a bit, but it's been eventful so far. The 05 car getting the free pass once again. Chantal Pottle back on the lead lap.
Yeah, for sure, and that's great for her to get back on the lead lap. She's got 15 to go at the moment, probably 13-ish to go when we go green. But just a little thing I'd like to say, Kenny McKenzie tonight, he's come a long way from where he started last year. I'm not sure if he's ever even used a computer last year, and he's actually racing with one hand right now after having a surgery on his other hand. So not the night he wanted, but I can't even race with 2 hands, and he's out here racing with 1.
Yeah, and sometimes a rough night in the iRacing simulator is a better night than at work or something along those lines. But the pace car going to dip on down, grab himself another corn dog and another Coke down on pit road, and we're going to get ourselves another green flag restart. And the 13 spins the tires just a little bit, but still able to pull away from Matthew Barkhouse. Yeah,
and then like we said again, Axum's, he's trying different stuff now. He knows that the laps are winding down. He needs all the advantage he can get. He's usually been waiting a little longer, but this time he took right off, and we see some battles back for 3rd place between Noel Fougier and Wally Wilson.
And as these tires start to fade just a little bit, drivers are going to be doing everything they can to try and utilize the entire racetrack. And you can see that 69 car absolutely making that high side work. He's side by side now with Tanton Woolridge. Caution flag and number 7 comes out Tony Wright finds himself in the wrong direction.
Yeah, and again, another one of those tough nights for a guy like Tony Wright. I think the second or third caution he's been involved in, so these front 4 or 5 have been pretty clean, but trying to get into that 10th position, we see a little bit of a calamity, as we could say.
100%. And drivers trying to get into that top 10. There you can see a little bit of contact from the 53 getting into him, and then a little bit more contact from that 67 as he goes on around. Lots of damage in the 09 car, but able to grab a gear and soldier on through. He's got a little bit of time left, but it's going to be one tall order to get up towards the front.
We know RKM Setup Shop sells setups and advice, but they might need to start selling chassis after this race.
Chassis, maybe some sheet metal, maybe some hats or t-shirt.
A couple of clips.
Yeah, maybe a hooded sweatshirt. That'd be kind of cool.
Speaking of merchandise, where's the Vidane TV shower curtains? I'm still waiting for mine.
They're in the mail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know how the Canadian mail service is.
Yeah.
It's they tried to change it over at the border. It just didn't work. There was a communication error. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
Less than 10 laps to go, though, at the Bull Ring. We're looking for 10 drivers to lock themselves in to the big show. The second annual running of the TCM 300 this Friday night, live on Vidane TV. To get there, we got to finish this up. 8 laps to go. How about that restart from the 13?
Another great restart by the number 13 car of Axum. He's been on his game all night since he got the lead, and we see Barkhouse running second, Nolfushir third. Wally Wilson looks like he's around in the back. And the yellow flag's out. That's a big one.
We are stacking them up here on the front straightaway, and these drivers know it is go time. It is past go time because we've got less than 10 laps to go. We're going to have even less than that once we get up in it. And looks like this was actually one of the 5th place drivers there. I believe that was the 69. I'm going to have to double check on that. And it was. We're going to focus in here on the Kong Beer Bong instant replay. There you can see Tant Woolridge looking down low, gets a little bit of a piece of the 69, upsets the back end of that race car. And you can see another incident in further back, but this is the big one here. A lot of drivers getting a piece of the action, a lot of damaged race cars, beating up fenders, and with not very much time to get to the front, some of these drivers just going to try and hold on to the top 10.
Yeah, that's a real tough break for a guy like Wally Wilson. He already drove his way through the field once. It looks like he's being scored in the 7th position for now. Oh, he just got the EOL with Tant Woolridge. So 2 guys running in the top 5 now with 5 to go. The laps will count down. Probably 3 to go when we go green. So 19 cars on the lead lap to get to 10th. It's going to be tough.
And it's going to be entertaining to watch. We may as well just sit back and watch it from the spotter's stand because there's going to be action all the way around this racetrack. There are 20 cars still on the lead lap. Going to get to restart with about 3 laps to go. Any of those 20 drivers can come home with the victory here. Maybe even the 21st driver if we get a caution, a quick caution, and a wave around. But lots of different storylines going on. Thomas Axum up front, dominant all night long. Matthew Barkhouse, Noel Fouchier, Craig Tully, Brent Roy up to 5th. Mike Rhino, John Byron, Matthew Hofford. I don't think we've mentioned his name all night here tonight in the 84 car running in 8th. Derek Gates and Nick Conner currently the top 10. Terry Duguay, Dave Cassidy outside looking in. There goes the pace car. Here comes the green flag. Getting ready to go racing one more time. There's the 13. He's gone.
And that actually, it almost had the door open for Noel Fougier to get that 2nd position, but we see Axum fires off again and Barkhouse right behind him, and it looks like the front 4 or 5 are pretty straightforward, but we see a battle back here.
Look at this race for 10.
Wow.
Woo-hoo-hoo. These drivers know.
Go ahead.
These drivers know it's go time. Terry Duguay, the back of Conner. Conner's going to drop back a couple of positions. We stay green. 2 laps to go. Going to cross the stripe here. White flag, a white rag for the number 13 car. Wrecking towards the back. The 67's involved as well. Caution flag is going to come out. I believe we're going to get ourselves a green-white checkered.
You know what, Paul? I'm glad you were explaining because I still don't really know what happened back there.
Well, I looked at timing and scoring, and it looks like we have reset to 3 laps to go, and that the lights are on in the pace car. The pace car's out on track. We are going to get ourselves a green-white checkered attempt.
That's a tough break for Terry Duguay. I was just going to mention he was running 11th position, up 11 spots tonight, so that means he would have started in 22nd position, and Again, just not what he was looking for at the end of this race.
Yeah, and you can see here from the Calling Beer Bong instant replay. Tough quarters racing. We're going to have to back that up one more time because there were callers all over the racetrack. There you can see the initial contact with the 14 and the 54. Just gets in there a little bit too hot, gets into the back bumper of the 54, and unfortunately, as they slowed down, the drivers behind them wanted to get up and around, and there you can see a little bit more calamity from some of these drivers. So almost had it saved, but had to get it taken care of, and caution flag flies one more time. Thomas Axum, Matthew Barkhouse still up front.
Yeah, we mentioned 2 wides tough here, 3 wides tough, 4 or 5, however many wide we just had there. It's just not possible. So some tight quarters racing, trying to get to that 10th position, and it looks like 3 or 4 guys are going to have to go to the back.
So as we take a look once again here at the top 10, remember the 10 drivers here tonight that are the top 10 drivers here tonight are automatically locked into the big show this Friday, the TCM 300 live here on Verdane TV. Thomas Axon, Matthew Barkhouse, Noel Faugier, Craig Tully, Brent Roy, still the top 5. Mike Rhino, Matthew Hoffert, John Byron, Dave Cassidy, and Dylan Black in the 71 car after that incident earlier on, up in the 10th position. 2x2 green-white checkered attempt, and we're going to get that green flag, and the 13 car is going to get himself another phenomenal restart.
And Noel Faugier timed the restart too. He's battling for that 2nd position with Matthew Barkhouse right now. So great restart for Axum, great restart for Faugier, and it looks like the top 3 figured it out. So the battle will come in behind.
White flag, a white rag for real this time. Thomas Axum got to lead him around for 2 more corners. Checked out 1 more corner, and he'd come home with the victory. You can see he's got a half a second lead over Noel Faugier in 2nd. He's going to take that victory. He's going to take that qualifying spot, and he's going to lock himself in to the CCM 300. But before we get there, we're going to be celebrating with the 13 team. Thomas Axum comes home with the win.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm a little distracted right now. I'm trying to invite Thomas Axum to the Discord so we can talk to him. But great run for him. He took the lead early, and he hung on to it.
100% in a phenomenal race here at the Bull Ring. 100 laps, 103 laps or so to get these drivers locked in. And there you can see the finishing results on your screen. Thomas Axum, Noel Faugier, Matthew Barkhouse finishing on the podium. And we're going to talk to those 3 drivers if we can here. Mike Rhino and Brent Roy finishing in the top 5. Craig Tully, John Byron, Dylan Black, Dave Cassidy, and Matthew Hoffert in the top 10. Those drivers are going to be qualified in for the TCM 300 this Friday night. And everybody else, they're going to have to try and race it out, duke it out with this guy, the 99 car, Brandon Campbell, Thursday night in the last chance qualifier. But we're going to kick it down to victory lane. Brandon, I believe you've caught up with Thomas Axum, tonight's winner.
Yeah, Thomas, you got us?
Yes, sir.
Awesome, buddy. Nice to see you again. A great performance. I think this was your first time out with TCM, so Ryan Kuhn showed you how to do it last night. So what played into getting the win tonight?
Yeah, I just wanted to go out there. I wanted to get the lead as soon as possible just to secure it. I knew it was going to be hard to pass later in the race with the car just changing up restarts. It'd be loose, but right after the restart, it'd be tight again. So just wanted to be out front, controlling it. Barkhouse was definitely out there all night. And Noel, to get him late on that restart could be huge on the start grid. Long race tomorrow, but everything matters. Every position matters. So just glad I was able to secure that.
Yeah, for sure. And we talked all night long about your restarts. Did you ever have a set plan, or did you just go when you thought it was the time to go?
I just whenever the gut said go, it was hammer time.
Yeah, for sure. And it was a great run. And I think Tim, if you can attest to this, I think it's whoever won last night starts pole, and whoever wins second starts second.
Well, because last night, yeah, you're right. So tonight is second. I'm doing about 3 different things at once. There is the back of the pack challenge we forgot to mention as well. So Thomas and Noel Faugier be able to chew on this a little bit, but they can go to the back of the pack and earn a little bit more money on Friday night. So something a little extra to chew on, Mr. Campbell.
Yeah, exactly. And well, it's either you're starting beside your buddy on the front row, or you guys are both going to the back. So who would you like to thank tonight?
Just shout out to you guys for putting this whole thing on. It's gonna be awesome. First, like you said, first time in here. It's gonna be awesome. Good car count. Nice clean racing too. Very impressed. Had a ton of fun. But shout out to Bernier's Liquor, Studios 10 Designs, RKM, and like I said, shout out to you guys for putting this thing on. Thank you, TCM, Tim.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Thomas. Great run, and we'll see you Friday.
Thank you, sir.
And that was our winner, Paul Strickland.
Yeah, we're going to slide down pit road just a little bit further. The 36 car, hard charging all night long, but charged even harder when it mattered. Noel Fougier coming home with the second place finish here tonight. Talk to us, Noel.
Well, it's a great race all around. It was a lot of fun. Good win to Thomas. He was super fast all through practice and obviously through the heats and everything. A good race between up front with the three of us, between me, Thomas, and Matt. I feel like I was a little bit off of Thomas and Matt there, but that last restart just seemed to go my way and managed to get past Matt and take home P2.
And definitely a strong showing for the 36 car tonight. You locked into the big show here Friday night. And some of the drivers we've been talking to, some drivers have kind of used a little off-season of iRacing, taking a break. Some drivers are on it every night. A lot of drivers are at the racetrack. What's been going on in the Fougier camp? What can we expect for the future of the 36 crew?
Well, this, I guess, off-season for all the real-life guys, but more of an on-season for me. I've been basically just nonstop racing since last year. I did the full-time full NIS fixed schedule this year. Just wrapped that up a couple weeks ago at Phoenix. Now getting back into the swing of the TCM event. Super excited to get that back underway.
100%. We're excited to see you back here on Verdane TV with the TCM special events, especially with the TCM 300 coming up this Friday night, the second annual running of the TCM 300. You're in the big show. Want to give you an opportunity to thank anybody that makes it happen for you here. Friends, family, sponsors, teammates, whoever makes it happen for the 36.
Yeah, just give a shout out to my dad's watching me, cheering me on, giving me a little bit of helpful advice. My girlfriend's sitting behind me here. She's cheering me on as well. So thanks to them, you guys for putting on a great broadcast, and Tim Terry, as usual, for putting this whole show together and giving me an opportunity to see what I got against some of these big names in here.
Absolutely, and a good solid run for the 36. Going to be exciting to watch you here Friday night. We'll see you Friday.
Awesome. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it.
100%. And a little bit further on towards the end of pit road, Brandon, it looks like you've caught out with the third place finisher, Matthew Barkhouse, in the 15.
Yeah, Matthew, can you hear us?
Yeah, I got you.
Awesome. Another great run tonight in the TCM events. Always, a top competitor wherever we go. And we mentioned the restarts of Axum tonight, and you kept pretty close on most of them. So what was going through your mind on those restarts?
Yeah, I just knew here that I had to nail those. I knew I was never going to get by him on the top. Just had to try to make sure I fit in the hole there. I'm honestly pretty sure Noel was giving me a break, just knowing we have to finish up front to make the big show. I figured at one of the times he would get by me, and of course it was that last one after finishing in front of him on the rest of them, but I'm glad I got the third and locked into the big race.
Yeah, of course it had to be the last one, right? But
Yeah, exactly.
we mentioned that the top 10 locked themselves in, so it didn't really matter if you were finishing first or 10th. So did that kind of factor in how you guys were racing for the whole 100-lapper, knowing if you were at the front you were making it?
Yeah, for the most part on the restarts, I definitely wasn't going to do anything too risky. Definitely seeing big picture there, but I knew that this Thomas guy was going to be one of the guys to beat, so I've heard. So I didn't practice a whole lot, so I just wanted to see kind of what I had against these guys. And after seeing them a tick slower now, I'm probably going to have to practice more than a couple laps before the race. But hopefully we'll have something for the 300.
Yeah, for sure. And we talk about you, Axum, and Fougier, three of the top guys in this whenever we show up. And the real season just ended, so just give us a little explanation of what you did all summer.
Honestly, not a whole lot. Just watched some racing and then slacked off, didn't work on our cars. Hopefully we'll be back next year racing again, and we'll get everything ready and not slack off all winter and be ready to go for the spring.
Yeah, for sure. And again, a great run tonight. And who would you like to thank for making this happen?
All the guys at Rev that help us on the car. So Keith, Mike, other Mike Rhino there, and Joey and Ryan. And then Xander Sign Group, our Kinsmans. And yeah, that's pretty much it for you guys put on the broadcast for our friends and family to watch, and Tim for putting the series together so we can see what we got against the best in iRacing has to offer.
Awesome. Thanks again for coming out tonight, and great run, and we'll see you on Friday.
Thank you.
And a good solid race here tonight. And Tim, night 2 in the books. Not too bad. The headaches aren't too strong, and it doesn't seem like the daiquiris are all that strong either.
Yeah, don't jinx it as we go into Thursday and Friday. But yeah, these guys put on a great show tonight. Great show on Monday. One more shot for those outside the top 10 to make it in on Thursday through the last chance qualifier, and then the TCM 300, 9 p.m. Atlantic on Friday. 300 laps, 600 and something dollar purse on the line, so it should be a good way to really ease back in to everything that we're doing this season with the TCM special events. Looking forward, though, to tomorrow night. We've got the off night, per se, from the iRacing side of things. We're going to do a little bit of bench racing with Travis Roma, former Shriners Classic champion. We're going to chat with Justin Cole, and, of course, we're going to chat with Randy Titus, driver, the number 75. At Speedway 660 in the Sharpshooters. Going to be a great little show tomorrow night at 8 p.m., so come on out and join us. Paul, you got Loose Lugs, you've got NEP, you've got all kinds of stuff coming up, don't you?
Yeah, a full week here, getting ready to celebrate Thanksgiving next week, so we got a little bit lighter schedule next week, but you may mention TCM Loose Lugs tomorrow night. Nep's going to be racing Watkins Glen, another opportunity to watch Brent Roy, everybody's favorite sim racer, except for Brandon Campbell. But those guys are going to be running 30 laps at Watkins Glen, and then Friday night, the second annual running of the TCM 300. Really looking forward to it. And East Coast Winter League coming back with some modified action Sunday night. They're still looking for sponsorship as well. Anybody out there wants to throw them some coin, always worth it to get your name out there. So we'll see what happens with that. But a great race here tonight, and Tim, it looks like we got one more interview. You've caught up with a driver that's going to have to race Thursday night in the last chance qualifying. I believe you've caught up with a driver on the 99.
I thought Brandon was retired after his performance last night. Brandon, are you coming Thursday?
We'll see what we have to do Thursday. I don't know. I like I said at the start of the broadcast, I've been ghosting Paul for a while, but it was kind of fun hanging out up here. So if I have time Thursday, I'll make it to race. If I have time to show up, I'll probably come give Paul a hand again.
There you go. We might send you with Aaron and go to Watkins Glen for the Zany at the Glenny for the NEP League. That should be a good show. Paul, I was talking to Brent earlier. I think there were some hurt feelings after the race at the Bull Ring that they had last week. So that should be good on Thursday night. So if you're wanting to watch some sim racing, Vidane TV, place to go for Neps. If you're racing the last chance qualifier, good luck with that. But that's going to wrap it up for us here this evening. TCM Live tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Justin Cole, Randy Titus, and, of course, Travis Roma. Going to be a good show. Bring a couple of cold ones. I think you're going to need it. Paul, get us out of here.
Yeah, we're going to catch you on the flip side, and when we do, we'll be doing it live.